All right, what's going on, you guys? Happy Monday afternoon here, Monday evening here. We're back on live, TRT Live for this evening. I got Jay, Dev, Rob, and Anthony with us tonight, and we'll go over some of the charts and obviously the big events this week is coming up starting tomorrow. We have earnings from the tech giants, Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Amazon, Apple, Roku, you name it. It's all good. We're going to talk about it. So, Jay, why don't you kick us off?
All right, guys. Hey, how you doing? Good to be back. The main storyline today, obviously, has been Elon Musk. Go ahead and been buying Twitter for $44 billion, which is incredible. Didn't think that was actually going to happen. And here we are. Now a deal's done. They're going to go private. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what kind of changes they make. Right off the top, really, you wonder maybe he's going to face some lawsuits for filing the wrong filing originally when he was supposed to be having a passive stake. We're going to get rid of some of these bots. DWAC hammered today on this news, and then even another unconnected thing. Doge ran 20%.
Yeah, it's more like it.
So we got to look for all the pros and cons from this. It seemed like all around we sort of really rebounded right when that news broke. So guys, what do we think? Twitter it probably won't trade above $54 a share, because why would it at this point? Because that's what stockholders are going to get. So it's kind of maybe the way I look at it, I think the Twitter ride might be over for retail investors at this point.
Yeah, I mean, Jay, I would agree. I mean, initially what I was thinking it was, Elon tends to have that effect when it comes to stocks, to pump up the volume, have a lot of people come in, new investors coming in. And I thought for a minute, maybe Twitter might pump a little bit above the price. That's what I was hoping for. That's why I opened up options at $55 strikes, because I was hoping it would go to like 55, maybe even 60, because he would sometimes have that effect on a stock. But obviously that didn't happen. And at this particular point, I'm looking to get out of my calls and just calling my calls a loss at this particular point.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's so interesting. I mean, what I was tweeting earlier this morning is that, I mean, we're kind of witnessing history in the making with Elon buying Twitter. I mean, I never imagined Twitter would actually get sold or acquired, but let alone by Elon Musk, right? So it's just incredible to kind of see how it all went down on Twitter, right? Which is really interesting in itself. So, I was thinking like it should go to 54, but no, I mean, the market's not really having it. I mean, even after the halt today, it didn't really do much, didn't pump up any volume or anything. So, like you said, I figured it'd go to 54.
Yeah, I think this is the end of the road for Twitter, but it's just the beginning on some of the related names. I don't play crypto. I know Anthony does, right? Anthony, you play crypto. Doge went up 20% today.
Yep.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I sort of knew Doge would go up because Elon's such a big fan of Doge, and Elon being a troll, like the troll master that he is. I mean, I just knew it was going to go, but I had no idea it was going to have that big of an effect like today. Had I known, I would have full ported Doge.
Oh, for sure. So after this, basically, now we're taking a look at some of the rest of the week. And the market rebounded great today. And I was watching a lot of shows, CNBC today, and everyone is a little bit too excited. I thought, it just seemed like most of it feels like one step forward and two steps back. That's the way I'd put it at this point. And we're really, at the same time, though, Rock, I don't know if you get your screen up. I have my, but the VIX.
Oh my God, what is
the VIX? Look at the VIX today. It went over.
Horrible drawing, I know. Don't ignore that.
It went over 31 and then dropped to 27.
Wait, what is it? Are you sharing your screen? I'll
oh no, I'm not. I'm just saying. If you look at the VIX today, if you can share it, it went up to 31 and then went all the way back to 27, which I don't think is any mistake. I kind of think we should caution. One of the things I was thinking about today was we need to be hesitant on being too negative right now, because the last time the market bounced hard, when we had that rip back in late March, early April, I was one of the people who got caught being a little too bearish. And right about now, when everyone is too scared to invest, it's usually the time to make money.
I'm not too bullish nor bearish.
Yeah.
That's the mindset I'm going into on this week, is because there's so much volatility in terms of the tech earnings, and I think obviously at the end of the day, towards the end of the day today, the market was trying to buy the dip and trying to really ramp up for Microsoft and Google, which two biggest names out there for tomorrow. So like I said, I'm not too bullish nor bearish. I don't like this. I just didn't like the Qs today at all. So I barely played it. But let's just not, if you're a bull out there right now and you're thinking like, okay, Q's just going to run back over to 375 from this point, I think that's a little bit of far-fetched. I do think from a technical perspective, we've all seen like this 2-hour chart, right? Little. It's not a bear flag, but it comes around, okay, and it hit a bottom. It may go up a little bit more. I think 335, 336 is going to be a critical area for tomorrow. But if any weakness from Microsoft or Google, which is so interesting because both these stocks can make Q and the DAC run like crazy, or it can tank it. So today was obviously a good relief rally because the Q lost over like 23 points in just 2 days, Thursday and Friday, because of our friend Powell. But eventually, I do think that it's going to come back down into. It'll test the 316, 318 area once again. You'll probably see a bounce from that area just for technical bounce, purely a technical bounce. And then eventually, I do think you'll eventually see 300. I'm sorry, Dev. I got to draw this chart.
That's fine. I don't mind 300. I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
Go around here.
I'm most of the time a bear anyways, but I became I'm probably a 20 to 48 hour bull. So I bought a lot of calls on Friday because after a Thursday and Friday like it was, there's going to be, as we discussed in the chat room today, there's going to be a relief bounce.
Yeah.
At some point. I didn't expect it to hit as low as it did this morning before it decided to bounce. So I was like, oh man, are we going to get 3 days in a row? But good to see that because, we were able to make 20, 30% on some Microsoft calls. Right. Up about 25% on some Apple calls, you name it, whatever bounced today, we were able to pick up some 20 to 30 to 50% gains on some things. And some of the plays that I had too, and some of the things that were called out in the chat room.
Yeah. Well, the thing about Microsoft is that, I started to load the calls about Thursday last week, because I just knew that it was getting to a point where the buyers would start stepping in here. Because if you look at this chart over a period of time, since beginning of the year, every time the price comes to this area, you see a pretty nice bounce. Now, of course, they do have earnings tomorrow, so that's just going to be a huge factor on where this can go. Chart perspective, you do have a gap from, I would say, from 293 up to 296, 297 area. So that gap eventually has to get filled. And then you have another gap up to about 309. And that's the same thing with Q as well. So Q can run just off Microsoft, but Microsoft isn't the only one. It's the other juggernaut, which is Google. Right. I sold those Google calls this morning for a pretty 13-15%. I want to load some in the money calls for tomorrow, or not in the money, but close to like 2,500, 2,600 calls right before the earnings tomorrow, because I really do think that it's going to hop back into this channel, fill some gaps here, fill some gaps here. I don't know if it'll get to obviously to 2,800. That's a big stretch. But at least there's one gap that it can fill. If that happens, then you're going to see Qs. If my assumption is correct, you're going to see Q fill this gap pretty quickly as well in the 348 area. So, it's all up in the air. See what the market does. If the market if the market just pumps like crazy tomorrow, then I'm just going to take puts. But if it dumps tomorrow, then it's a great opportunity to play Microsoft and Google on the dip.
Definitely. I would
Also
think
have
Google-
no Fed
yeah.
talking too, so I feel like
Right.
people are
Yeah, I
probably
picked
feeling
up-
more safe.
I picked up Disney when it hit
Yeah.
almost the bottom today, and I did 120s. So I did pretty good on that. So
I mean, just look at crypto rally. Like, I mean, I'm looking at Luna, just Terra. It was down like to 80 something, and it's like 97 now. It's up like 12% or 15% in just one day.
Yeah, I'm looking at Bitcoin now. It actually looks like it's
crazy.
Yeah, it's definitely strong. It's a little stronger than it looked a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's not great, but
Yeah, I mean, I was bag holding Ethereum like over the weekend, and I paper handed it this morning. So, but yeah, I mean, it was at 2,700 at one point over the weekend, and now it's up back over 3,000. So,
wow.
Yeah, Zeus said he just sold it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Cool. And then the other name we were discussing this week, that's pretty exciting is we have two other names actually. I guess we'll go with the puts though on this one, Facebook. We take a peek at Facebook here and see what we got on that. It definitely doesn't seem like it's bullish.
Definitely see your cup from before.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got a classic cup and handle failure, obviously. That's right. Just when it was about to break out, the market pulled back, and this was primarily due to Powell. I mean, really, this is Powell's just talking out of his butt again. But I mean, the thing about the Fed is that I don't know if you guys noticed this, but I mean, like every time they meet, they release the minutes and then they speak at conferences, etc. Every time it just feels like they have a different tone. Especially Powell. I mean, he went from hawkish to dovish to hawkish, and it's just the same way, and it just rattles the market.
It's his mood of the week, it seems like.
Yeah.
I think what really got the market this time is that he said he wanted to front load, and that probably scared a bunch of people with the front load. But
it definitely didn't help. Didn't help confidence. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Facebook looks like it's ready to get smacked, and you wonder how low it can go. It's at one. What is it? I don't have it up on my screen right now, but it's just. Is it heading back to 100? What is the value on Facebook? Does WhatsApp save them? Does Instagram save them? I'm not sure. I'm not really as well versed with Facebook as I am some of the other names, but
Facebook is trading at 13 times PE, and they have a lot of free cash flow. So I don't.
Yeah, the bounce has got to be here soon. I just wonder if it's at this earnings or it's after. You had to think it's after. The way it looks now, it looks like trash.
To investors, it's so confusing what they're doing, right? I know they changed the name to Meta, and they're trying to roll out whatever they're trying. They had some news this morning, I guess, but that didn't help at all. It's unclear where Mark Zuckerberg is really taking the company, and with the whole Meta change, name change. So that's going to be kind of this dark cloud over Facebook until they're very clear in the direction of the company. But also, what's going to really matter the most is their ad revenues, because that's what Google is measured pretty much by, is their ad revenues, right? YouTube revenues. And same thing with Facebook. They can have great engagement, but if they're slowing down on subscribe or user growth or engagement, and what really killed them was the user growth and also ad revenues last quarter, then I'm just going to print my 145 puts.
Absolutely.
And realistically, I mean, if they miss, boy, it's going to come down to 145 very quickly.
Yeah, it's going to be just like last earnings. What do we? This earnings again was Netflix. It happened twice now, but I forget.
Yeah.
It just seems like we could have a waterfall. And I was going to say, Facebook and how we don't know where they're going, what they're doing. And one of the things they announced this morning was they were opening a concrete brick and mortar store in California for the metaverse. I'm just like, isn't the entire idea of the metaverse that it's all virtual and online? I mean, I just thought that was kind of odd too. But that just goes to confuse people even more, especially boomers who are just playing with their 401k.
I don't think anyone with their 401k should be investing in Facebook. But.
No, I agree. I agree. But
with Elon now, acquiring Twitter, you got to think, okay, is he trying to compete with Facebook? Is he
100%?
He's trying to get back at Facebook for Trump. I don't know, that kind of thing. So, can Elon take Twitter and make it more relevant with more social media tools, like more advertising, more what is it, like videos and things like that Facebook does have, right? It can I mean, I see it as a threat to Facebook and their growth.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be tougher for them. I don't see it getting much easier, especially because of the age of their average user. I feel like they're getting a little bit of increased scrutiny for the moderation issues. It's just not promising for Facebook right now, especially right now. And that really, that I'll roll this into another name that we've been talking about in the group, and I know that we've been considering it. Apple. Apple's going to be reporting soon, and that's something I think we're a little bit more bullish on, if I'm correct.
Yeah, what do you think, Dev?
Yeah, I like it. I think it's great. I think today they had a news too. They said that they were going to add, what was it, satellite network connectivity to their watch as well. I really think like the first quarter earnings probably not going to be affected by the China shutdowns, because the shutdowns just recently happened. So I think the first quarter earnings are going to be pretty good. They also had an increase in their iPhone 13 orders, I think, or demand, that also came out today. Mm-hmm. So I think they're gonna beat it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. It's already had a good pullback, a sizable pullback from some of the highs early this year. And Rock, look at that candle on the daily today, huh? It's pretty much, that looks pretty tasty.
Yeah, with nice hammer candle, and really, it's just it's the Qs bouncing today, and obviously you got Apple bouncing off the moving average 200 on the daily, so that was obviously expected to hold. But the bad thing is, if you look at these volume gaps below this current price point, it can get nasty pretty fast too, right? I mean, I do see. I want to play Apple earnings, but I'm also thinking like it just goes sideways. I don't think there's going to be some big movements either direction. I think the market is already saying Apple's just going to be Apple. They're probably not going to have like a surprise beat, but just kind of in line, as expected. Those are the type of earnings I hate, because when it's as expected, the price does nothing.
Well, if that's the case, if the market's going to expect it to do well, then maybe we can play the call into the earnings and then sell it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Right, and then don't play it. Don't play a put. Don't play a call. Just take the call into the earning and then sell it.
Yeah.
One great thing that Apple does really well is that Apple's IV tends to go really high right before earnings.
Yeah.
And right now will be a great time to capitalize on that IV and just, easy 30% gainer on calls just on IV.
All right. Got to get back into those 180 calls tomorrow then.
I hate this webcam. It keeps disconnecting.
You should have got the one I told you to get.
Yeah, man,
what the heck?
I paper handed those 180 calls this morning and it pumped this afternoon. I think I would have gotten at least 30% out of it.
They're at 25.8 right now.
Whatever, missed it. Yeah,
it's okay. I had Apple 180 calls. 172.5 calls for May, and I sold those too. So.
Yeah, and another name I'm looking at right now, moving on from Apple, is Roku. Where are we at? We're at 101.19 in the post market right now. I mean, that thing has been destroyed. I mean, what we're looking at, the 15th of July last year, it was at around $485.
Dude, it looks like an inverted cup and handle. Come on.
Well, yeah, it's filling a gap back in 2020 pandemic levels. So, I mean, this is starting to look like everything's trying to come back to pandemic levels. I mean, look at this.
That's what I was saying. I looked at this today too, and I thought this is going to go probably that pre-pandemic level.
Yeah. Well, they're removing all the printed money.
When is Roku earnings? Is it Thursday?
It's Thursday. Yeah, I was looking at it earlier today.
I think I have to play this. This looks pretty better to me, like more decisive move one way or another versus Apple.
Watch
You know
it go completely opposite of what you want it to do.
Right.
Now, Rock, one thing interesting thing to explain was you say more decisive. Could you explain to maybe some of like the people on the podcast what do you mean by decisive? Like, what do you look for?
Well, I'm looking at the pandemic levels, and seems like there's a lot of room to fall here. It's obviously breaking down the point of control or the volume shelf here. It's lost that completely, and I think they just got a downgrade a couple of days ago for $60 if I remember that correctly. It was like $60-$70.
Yeah.
It was pretty.
I think I was looking at 80.
Again.
I think I was looking at 80 puts like a few weeks out.
Yeah, I think I'll play some 70. I'm gonna do 50 puts just for fun.
I mean, I agree because I mean this is a streaming thing like Netflix. You have like all this other stuff that comes even on the TVs when you buy them now. You know, you have all the free LG channels, all the free Samsung channels, and what I really had a high conviction for Netflix, just not because everybody was puts and the group was puts too, is young kids are canceling all these subscriptions. You know, I have a lot of children that age because gas is too high for these young kids to continue on these subscriptions and pay for Hulu and pay for Netflix and pay for Roku and pay. They want, I mean, I think they're, you know, and canceling 60% of their subscriptions because they have to pay for their car payments and their gas, and inflation's hitting them. So what does Roku have to offer for people going forward that don't have HBO, HBO Max or anything else that that they would like?
I think Roku is just a streaming platform, man. Like it just gives you, it's the device that just gives you access to everything on one platform. That's all.
Right, but that's what I was saying. So why?
Yeah. There's too much competition too.
So why would somebody, you know, do that when there's apps already on TVs that they're buying?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to double down on like what Rob was saying, I mean, Roku, their business plan was to, you know, go after TCL, which is a TV brand, right? Which is a lower end TV brand. So, you know, when they're going after that particular audience, with inflation the way it is right now, a lot of those people that buy those TCL TVs can't really afford to put gas in the car and so on and so forth, you know, just because they're in that bracket of buying a TCL TV.
Yeah. And then streaming costs are only going up. It's another thing. And the Roku, it's just like, I was going to say the same thing Rob said. You know, a couple times I've sat in my own house, I've switched off cable and I'm sitting here going, you know, why do these TV brands even deal with Roku? Why are they not just developing their own software?
Yeah.
I mean, especially over the price of 100, you know, there's a lot better stocks out there, I think, that have a lot brighter future that you could, I don't know. I just don't know why people are still investing in this name bullishly, but that's where I'm at with Roku. And, you know, I think I was going to bring up this next. Amazon, a name we have yet to talk about. I feel like we have to touch on Amazon, and then I got one more name after that, and then I want to talk about some of our short squeeze potential we have been discussing in our trading room.
Yep. You know, for Amazon, for me, I'm still out on this. The jury's still out for me on this. I can't decide which way to go. You know, I think the consensus is that it's going to be bearish, right? Everybody's expecting negative or bad EPS. They're definitely not going to beat last quarter's EPS because they padded Rivian in it. Now Rivian's at what, $30? Okay, do they take a hit on the investment?
They do.
You know what I mean? It's just it seems bearish, but then it's so. I don't want to overthink it or anything because Netflix was easy for me to play. I can't figure Amazon out. You know, because if they can't split the stock. They're going to split the stock. They can't announce nothing. They announce is going to surprise really the market in terms of pumping this thing up 500 points overnight. I don't see it. So, you know, there could be a situation where I need to take some puts. Yeah. But if it comes down here in the next 2 days, I can't play puts.
Yeah, it's bottom channel.
You know, it's bottomed out. It's just kind of like Netflix, or sorry, not Netflix, Microsoft.
Yeah,
it bottomed out, and we caught that perfect bounce from the 270 area. but this obviously has more room to come down before it goes back up. So if it hangs out on this channel for, let's say, around this area for the next 2 days, then okay, I'll play the puts. But then if it dumps hard over the next 2 days, whatever the market does, then I got to play the call, because it could, conceivably this is bottom for Amazon.
Yeah.
The flow is pretty bearish on Amazon. I mean,
Yeah.
People spending millions of dollars on 3,200 puts. I mean, they're in the money. 3,140 puts a month out.
And then I talked to one of my buddies, works at Amazon, and I said, "What do you think of Amazon earnings?" And he said, pretty much all of their guidance, they're way above it. Which he doesn't obviously have access to every single portion of their industry, and it's not like he's an insider, an accountant, or this is an insider trading.
Right, he doesn't know the numbers, right?
Yeah, he doesn't know the numbers, but he says for his department, and he's in sales related stuff, and the numbers are great, and they're killing it. But who knows how fuel's going to affect them, and all this other stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot of internal stuff that may affect Amazon, like their whole employment situation, and some employees going on strike not too long ago. I mean, I think that might affect it.
Yeah. And AWS though is literally, you could argue, could just carry the whole stock up.
That's what I'm worried about, because in fourth quarter it was like $71 billion of their revenue.
Insane.
That's 40% of their growth.
Yeah.
Insane.
That's the thing that I that's why I'm not. I know the flow is very bearish, but then they could just pull a rabbit out of the hat on you.
That's the same reason I think Microsoft beats if it beats. It's because of Azure.
Yeah.
Same thing.
I feel good about Microsoft. I just do. I don't know why. Google too.
I remember what happened last time, right? With Microsoft.
God, off the top of my head, I feel like we could go through a million different earnings every single quarter.
Points and came all the way back.
It came, it dipped so hard, and then it came all the way back up.
Oh my God.
And it went into positive, but the next day it dumped anyway.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, because that was late January, so the market was already in a downtrend, right?
Yeah, it was already bearish.
Yeah, because FOMC was just a week before, I believe, January 16th, 15th. They released their earnings the week after. I remember. I remember. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the market was already not having it. So great earnings, but sold off the next day anyway.
I thought this was funny. Someone bought Apple calls for $60 call for 2023.
That's interesting. That's weird. Deep in the money. Very deep in the money. It's underwater, but hey, good for them. Last name I want to mention that's big this week that, there's a lot of names this week, obviously, but I saw a lot of chatter about this on social media, and I think maybe we have Rock to thank for that. After last earnings, we played both sides of Chipotle.
Chipotle.
What a
Chipotle, man.
What a headache Chipotle was. But it was just, that was a brutal start. It just seemed like we had such a great run up, and I just wish I took all the profit at the beginning of that. But that's why I keep going back to that. We should just buy these stocks 2 weeks out and take all the run up profit and not even worry about it. No stress up my back.
No, seriously. Did they have earnings again? When is it?
It is, I believe it's tomorrow. Reports tomorrow.
I thought you weren't going to play this.
Yeah, there's just no volume. Even on the options chain, it's just there's lack of OI. The spread and the ask and the bids are so wide. It's a tough one to play. They're growing. Of course, they're charging $15 a burrito, whatever it is now. They grew last quarter. I mean, on their earnings, they grew. They're adding more stores, international expansion, but it's just a stock that doesn't move on earnings.
Yeah, for sure. I wanted to bring it up because you know what? Not necessarily because I like it, but I want to hear why you don't want to play it. You know what I mean? I think people ask that stuff in the chat all the time. They're like, why is Rock? Is Rock playing this? Rock playing that? I go, I don't know. Is it in the in and out room? And then I get a silent response back. But hey, and then this brings me to an exciting name since we ran through some earnings stuff here.
Yeah.
Our fun little short squeeze stock, Ethereum. F the haters, as they say on Twitter, or Rock has been saying.
Haters.
And we're back again. You know, I think Friday, a lot of people were starting to get a little nervous about that stock. But you know what? It shot right back up today. It looks great.
It's very volatile, so yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's back at 511 right now. I mean, geez,
Yeah,
it was close to
510
earlier.
Yeah, it's holding five really well.
I love it. You know, I mean, when you're gonna play these short squeezes, yes, you got to take profit on the way up as spikes, certainly. And a lot of people tend to just they rinse and repeat, and that's cool too. Whatever strategy you want to employ on this, but I mean, EMA 21 held the last 3 sessions since last Thursday, and so I mean, it was bound to just kind of get propped up again. And it did today. I mean, obviously the market had something to do with it. There was more volume in the market today. You know, so it's a good bounce. It closed above the 9 and 15. I'm sorry, 8 and 21 in one shot. Held the EMA 21. If the markets continue to be nice over tomorrow, back over moving average 200 and eventually back over 7. But I don't think it's done with it, obviously, because based on, you know, Dev, you want to share that Ortex data? Let me review.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, if he doesn't have it up yet, I was going to say, Anthony, why don't you tell us about your trade today? You killed it in this stock.
Yeah, so it was more an emotional thing than anything because I was losing a ton of money on Ethereum, and I thought it was like a sure thing. So, but long story short, I bought 20 Ethereum over the weekend, and all that just went sour. And Monday morning, I just got pissed off, and I just cashed out all Ethereum. Then I saw Ader at like $4.05. It just hit like a low, and I just like, you know what, YOLO. So I just threw it all in there and just let it sit. And I promised myself I'm not going to touch it. I'm not going to look. And then all of a sudden it went up past $5 today, and I cashed out. So I sold everything and everything that I put in, but I still have my original shares that I put in. So I still writing that, but I just made an easy scalp on my Ethereum money.
That's awesome.
Did you tell them how you accidentally bought Apple calls instead of puts?
Yeah, another funny thing this morning.
Yeah, so fantastic time. The news came out literally like 2 minutes after you bought it. Not even.
Perfect.
Yeah, it was like 30 seconds. Like I accidentally bought it because Zeus mentioned that he was going to get Apple puts, and then I accidentally got calls instead because I misread it. And then literally right when I pushed the buy button, and I was about to sell, news came out and it just skyrocketed like $1.50 on Apple.
Yep,
that's awesome.
Volatility.
Let's get the short interest update here.
So actually went up today. It's at 42.53. So I think we went from 41 point something to 41.6, and then we went down again, and then we went back up to 42.6, and now it's 42.53. So it's like it's still hovering around the same area. It just keeps changing less than a percentage every day. But I mean, it made a pretty good move today, so I'm not really concerned yet.
Yeah. My question for you, Dev, is these short squeeze. We had that level 3 short squeeze. Is that something that's still going on, or is that a single?
That's usually an alert that Ortex kind of sends out. Like it shows you an alert.
Gotcha.
It's just like a trading signal, right? So if I go to trading signals, it'll tell you here like April 19th, it alerted it fit into all 3 short squeezes. So 1, 2, and 3. So then it's up to you.
The duration too.
Right, yeah, and recommended hold date is 12 days, right? So you just gotta hold it as long as the bulls can keep it up above a certain price, like Rock said, EMA 21. We should be okay, but it does require some holds.
Yeah. Hey, today, if you sold today or Friday when you got nervous, you didn't make anything, which is
right. And I know some people were getting nervous, and I understand that, and that's why we usually say kind of scale in, right? So like you buy a couple. Let's say you want to buy 1,000 shares. You buy 100 today, and then tomorrow it dips below your average, or gets close to your average, or it gets to where you want it to bounce, like an EMA that you watched, and you buy another 100. So you always want to kind of scale in instead of just going all in. And I feel like we've had that issue a lot before, where people just go all in and feel like they're going to get left out.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
I do the same thing.
And I get a bad rep on Twitter for it too.
Yeah. The people who don't know how to trade have no fundamentals.
I don't think that's fundamental. I think that's just like learning risk, I guess risk handling or risk exposure. I don't know, tolerance. Yeah. So that's really that's hard. I understand, but
yeah, something that I've learned really well is that whenever especially on these short squeeze plays, whenever I want to take an entry, I would like look at what overall I want to risk, and then I'll go 50% of that. And then if I see another dip, I'll be like, okay, here's my scale in point. Yeah. Then I'll go another 50% of my total, and then I just keep doing that until I get that bounce. And once I get that bounce, then you're in the play great. But if you miss the bounce, guess what? You still made money because you're in the stock 50%. So
yeah, and I feel like people shouldn't feel afraid to take profit. If you see if you bought in today at like let's say $4.30 and after hours it's $5.20, that's almost like $1 profit per share. Like if you want, take the profit, or take some percentage of it out, or get your investment back. I don't know.
Yeah. Beautiful.
And if it comes back to your average, buy more.
Buy more. There you go.
There you go. Keep buying that dip.
Repeat this, right? I mean, my average is $4.12. So if it spikes, then yeah, I'll take some profit. But then if it comes back down to my average or close to like my target, then okay, then I'll add a little bit more, and we'll just trade around that core, right? I mean, you can always say like hold on to 500 shares and then just trade the whatever other 500. Let's say you got 1,000, and you just kind of you just trade around that core. And as long as the stock remains in a channel or it's consistent in terms of price action, you just flip it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, like today I was down like negative 12% on it, and I closed +6. So
yeah,
like the swing.
Yeah, it's crazy, but whatever.
But I was like, whoa, what's going on here today?
And that's why you got to have a stomach for this stuff. That's exactly why.
Yeah.
So hey, one other quick name we wanted to mention today, Urban One. We were talking about that last week. Looks good then, and now it is all the way up at 762. It's pulled back a little bit, but it's had a strong response to this slight pullback it's had to back around $7. It looks pretty good. This again, just remind everybody, is the Juneteenth play. This stock runs a couple times a year, most of the time in May. So you could really make out like a bandit here if you got in early, or it still looks pretty good right now. I mean, it's still way below the levels it went to last year.
Yeah. So, well, I mean, the impressive thing is, I mean, it's still a nice big old cup on the daily, right? You still have a gap to fill. Obviously, there were buyers today on the dip. It held the 34.50 cloud. EMA, moving average 200 held perfectly on Friday as well. And some of these, so U1 went up today. Ader went up. Some of these low flow plays caught some volume today. So that was pretty impressive. So I'm still going to hold it. And I mean, May is literally next week, right? So
crazy.
This is what happens in May. This is typically when U1 starts to run. Let's see, right about February, May. What is it? 2021. Where are we? Right.
Yeah, U1's just getting started for sure.
Yeah. So here, the week of May 13th and 17th of last year, this thing went from 5s into 20. I mean, watch your risk. Obviously, set a stop, right? If you have to, or some type of mental stop, or use EMA clouds on a daily if you need to. But I mean, at this point, pretty good risk to reward ratio, right? I mean, if it doubles, hey, and you're willing to risk maybe $1 a share, okay, for $2 a share, that's pretty good risk.
For sure. And last time it spiked like this, it looks like 2021 went all the way to 24, and you can see there's almost a little bit of a similarity there in like the pullback in May to like right now. So it should rock it. So it's going to be fun to watch.
Can you show the chart just so people can see?
Oh, that would help. That would help too.
My bad. Okay, here we go.
There you go.
Yeah. It's a gigantic, I don't know.
That is such a
wedge, ascending triangle.
Wow.
on a daily.
Daily, yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty close to breaking out, right? I mean, it tried here, failed. I mean, yes, you have lower highs, and it actually broke out last week, and nobody noticed, but it actually did break out a little bit and failed. So yeah, naturally, people are going to sell and panic and try to take profit. So, but this one, just be careful, right? I mean, set a stop, but. Let's see if they can climb over these areas. But again, you still got a gap to fill. I still like the chances here.
Absolutely. Hopefully next week we can add a couple names to the short squeeze list. It's been a little bit quiet with this pullback in the market. Does anyone else have anything that they any interesting topics or anything like that? Any stocks that they want to call out? I also guess I'll start if you want to think for a second. This morning I looked at CCJ, Rock. If you could pull that up.
Yeah, CCJ. That's the one we were looking at.
Yeah,
I think Anthony and I were talking about that one earlier too.
And shout out to JJ again, who I talked to you guys about him before. He's a commodities guy, and he's in our chat. And he nailed this one too. It looks great. It's pulled back quite a ways, and I got a little nervous when I bought in. Thought I might be early, and then it just rocketed right up around 12 o'clock. Thank God.
They have earnings. I don't know when it is. It's sometime this week, I think.
Sometime this week, yeah.
Yeah.
It is
a lot of bullish flow on it.
May 5th.
May 5th. Oh, okay. Next week.
Yep.
Okay.
Next week. So I believe that's like Tuesday or Wednesday or something next week. But yeah, it's uranium, and with what's going on in the world, I know Russia's one of the biggest producers of uranium, not the biggest though. And like we talked about last week's podcast, I think, or two podcasts ago, there's also a bunch of different bills and plans to revitalize the U.S.'s nuclear programs. So it's not going down anytime soon, and you can buy it here at a discount.
I mean, there's a lot of calls on it too, like in the millions.
Yeah.
Above OI is like calls for like September, $35 calls, $33 calls.
There's some interesting. There's some very interesting uranium charts right now. If you look at URA too. It looks like that's about to go on a nice reversal back up to where it was. It's at 23. It looks like it's ready to head back up to 28. All these uranium names look great. For whatever reason, they're just trading way better than some of the other commodities.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a way for people to hedge because it's cheaper than oil. And if you want to really buy into energy, it's much cheaper to buy uranium.
Yeah. It looks like we're gonna
because they're not overbought at all. So
I just got a Twitter notification that Michael Burry has reactivated his Twitter account after Musk bought Twitter. So get ready for another tweet. He's probably gonna say we're all gonna die and the big crash is coming, and then he's gonna deactivate his account again. So that's where we're at with that.
He's been right. So
he has
not a lot, not every time, but he's been right so far. So I would, yeah.
He has the right mindset, but he's like, I forgot. He's just like one of the people who always just calls a crash. So I don't know.
For sure.
Like the boy who cried wolf, like
no
one's gonna listen to you when it actually happens.
Yeah. No one's going to listen to you when the crash actually happens, and they're going to say you call for it every week for the last 10 years. So,
yeah.
Anyone else have a name they want to throw out or anything like that before we wrap things up today? No, look at that. We got crickets. Everyone's fired up for earnings. That's why. Everyone's waiting for earnings.
Pinterest. Let's talk about Pinterest.
Ooh, let's do it.
Boy. Are they buying them out again?
Nope, but I just want to look at it. It's Thursday or earnings, and
wow,
Lord, Pinterest is $20.
Yeah.
This chart literally looks the same as Roku.
Exactly the same.
$10 flips.
Holy crap!
Jeez, man, some of these names, just the 2020 highlights or big names in 2020 are just all corrected. What 80%?
I'm writing Pinterest down right now so I can look at it after the show.
Yeah. I dug into it. I dug into it a little bit today. Because I was going through all the earnings. So Pinterest stood out. Also now.
Yeah.
I thought maybe we want to do something with now.
Oh, boy.
starting now. Hmm.
Oh, Rob, you bear. Get out of here, dirty.
You like McBee in here right now. You're gonna start. Yeah.
These dirty bear charts over here.
Yes.
Good Lord. This
Man.
too.
I think that's Thursday as well. I can't remember if that's Wednesday or Thursday, but I was looking a couple days out.
Now beat last time too, though. If you look at the chart,
They
it's kind
did
of,
beat. Yeah, they burned me
Yeah.
last year.
yeah, it's kind of looks like it's mimicking the left side of that chart. If it beats again, I don't know.
Oh, boy. Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay away from this one.
Yeah, that's yep, 2 days from now. So if you want to ponder over it tomorrow,
Do you have like a search file over there where you just look for inverted cups or what?
I'm just a big bear, I guess.
Is it inverted? He has an inverted cup fetish. Exactly.
Jay, can you pull up ADTH? I don't know what's going on with this chart. I just ran into it right now on Ortex.
All right, let me see. Oh, well, you got it. Okay. Whoa.
What is this? Is this
Big old cup and handle.
Let me see what they do.
It's some company, but it's
ADTH.
85 short score. Price change in 3 months, 101%.
Is that a SPAC?
It looks like a SPAC, no?
Yeah.
So is it?
Is it-
Is it a spec?
Yeah,
Well, no,
it's
Oh, it's a big drop
Yeah,
of
it stayed right at 10 forever, then dipped way below.
Maybe they announced they weren't SPACing.
A leading programmatic digital advertising company using advanced machine learning. Okay, advertiser campaigns, campaign results for recent digital fundraising campaign. Just seeing what they do. It looks like they're just basically digital advertising and marketing.
Are they like? I wonder if it goes if Google
Yeah, it was-
does well or something.
It was
you know?
formerly MCAP Acquisition Corporation.
Oh, okay. So they
Oh, okay. So it's a D-SPAC.
and it
D-SPAC,
fell
gotcha.
60%.
It's a program,
Someone's buying it.
yeah, digital advertising company.
That's rough.
Oh.
Yeah.
60% drop on the D-SPAC. That reminds me, how's our friend Grab?
Probably dead.
Oh,
Oh,
Asian.
Remember? Oh,
AGC, man.
with this
Did well today.
$3 Grab.
Let me see. I played that
That
one
is the
too.
definition of a pump and dump right there.
Oof.
This is why I don't play SPACs like 2020 or 2021. I mean, look at SoFi, right? Anything.
Such a great company.
well, the
Yeah.
problem,
Right, but I mean,
the problem was there was so many
it's back
SPACs.
by Chalmers. Forget about it.
Yeah, the problem is there so many SPACs came out in 2020, and then they were hot, and they came out in 2021. But a lot of the 2020s are coming out. I think I read something where like I don't know, I can't even remember if it's 40 to 50% of them are not. They're rushing to try to find a company to merge with right now, or they're going to have to give all their money back to the shareholders because they're running out of time. If
Yeah,
they
it's like a 2-year expiration, isn't it?
yes.
Yeah.
So a lot of these 2020 ones that they need to find a company they need to merge with, or you know,
Or they're in trouble.
you got to hand all that NAV back.
Terrible. Look at what happened with Open, SoFi. What's the other Chalmers one? IPOC, IPOC.
Space, SPCE.
Those are
Oh
still
yeah, space.
they're coming.
Who's our usually person that talks about QS all the time? Are you
QS.
Dev or is that
Yeah, it's me.
Yeah, they have earnings.
QS.
I mean earnings, whatever. Earnings, on
Earnings
QS.
tomorrow. I think.
Is that like a falling wedge?
$10 puts.
Falling wedge, is it?
Right.
That's you can no. Don't do that.
No, it's not gonna go down that much. Come on. I don't even own it. Okay,
Everything's a falling wedge at this point.
that's true. I'd rather have
falling
a
wedge
falling
market.
wedge than a rising wedge.
Oh, great. All right, guys. Well,
Let's
I think
wrap it up here.
yeah, I think we're at a good spot here, guys. Thanks for coming again for another great show here.
We're gonna do like a quick fire if we think it's gonna hit or miss on earnings.
Oh, for what? For which one? A bunch of different stocks?
Yeah, just do all of them. I'm
Oh,
kidding.
Jesus. I was gonna
Choose like
say.
two.
I thought you were serious for a second. I was gonna say I have to get the list together here, but no, not tonight. Maybe next show, Dev. We'll do that for you. Okay. All right. Guys.
Well, there was a big one in the group. I would like to talk about because everybody was on about, UPS. That's in the morning. We can't get into it, but
Mhm.
a
I
lot
played
of
some UPS.
a lot of Twitter, a lot of people on Twitter, a lot of people in the group. Some
Wow.
people were playing 180. Some people were playing 165 put. Some people were playing 205 calls.
Wow. Yeah, it
It
doesn't look
went.
too
I
bad.
think it's gonna be.
That's gonna get. You know what I mean? I don't touch UPS, FedEx, or any of these stocks, so I don't know.
Yeah, because I know there's a couple other ones. A lot of deliveries this Old Dominion this week. A lot of times they move, sometimes they don't. You know, it could get you stuck in. You know,
He just has Amazon Prime. He doesn't care.
right.
Well, yeah, last time I played FedEx earnings.
You got a gap to 124.
Oh, yeah, FedEx was good.
Man, I wish I bought.
Yeah, I don't know. It's UPS might go. Who knows?
Yeah, let's see what happens tomorrow.
Well, if UPS
I'll
goes
watch it in the morning.
I think it's gonna go. I'm gonna say that now. I think that chart looks pretty good. I think it's gonna go. But hey,
I
All right.
have 205 calls, so I hope it goes.
there you go. I'm not shocked that you have calls, Anthony. I'll tell you that. I don't even strike me as a bear. You and Rob in the same room. You guys might fight each other.
I got Jay over there. Jay over there drinking Coke today, and Coke apparently killed expectations today. But yeah,
Shout out to my guy Matthews in chat,
26?
and my guy KO Matthews.
Coke trades at a higher PE than Google.
Yeah.
Wow.
Coke is.
We'll see how Pepsi goes tomorrow for Jay.
Pepsi ass trash.
He doesn't like. Yeah, he doesn't like Pepsi. I already asked Matthews.
PepsiCo in the morning for Jay.
Beautiful.
All right, gentlemen, let's go to wrap it
All
up. Thank you guys for your time. And then we'll be back on later this week, I guess. Yeah.
Go Celtics. Go Dub Celtics finals. That's what I'm gonna say now. Let's wrap it with that.
I'm going for that.
You not see my message? Celtics suck.
I know. I didn't see it. I ignored it.
Okay.
I was angry.
Okay.
Wait, did the Nets lose? The Nets lost?
No, they're down 59-52 right now, and they look absolutely awful. So I'm happy with what I'm seeing. The Celtics just need to hold on.
Yeah, it looks
Jason
like
Tatum's an animal, man.
Oh yeah, they've matured. They got Jalen going.
Jalen,
Old I was gonna say old ass Al Horford. And Daniel Tice coming back is huge. But yeah, they're a lot of fun to watch. A lot more fun than the Red Sox, at least. All right, let's wrap it, guys.
All right, guys. I'll see you guys back in the chat room in a minute.
See ya.
Yeah.
Yeah.